Well, hello everyone. I hope you're digging this shirt and tie look. I'm kind of growing fond of it a little bit here on camera, so it continues. Shirt and tie Schleg Daddy, Fizzle Tizzle Whizzle. That's FTW in the lamest mayonnaise-eating Caucasian type of way possible. Anyways, it's that time of weekend, whatever. Q&A time. And because of the number of questions I get, I want to make sure I devote enough time to the questions I can receive. This probably will be split up into two parts. But notably, it'll both be NFL football related because now we're into preseason. People all of a sudden remembering how much they love football and they can't live without it. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started, bitches. Stephen Hilton kicks us off by asking, do you see the new helmet rule forcing more zone defenses? I'm not really necessarily understanding, and maybe it's because I haven't been able to watch a ton of preseason football, why you're specifically referencing the helmet rule to zone defenses. I would think, if anything, the impact's going to come with guys being afraid to lay a big hit into somebody. So you might see a few fewer tip interceptions, a few fewer forced fumbles, far fewer big-time impact hits. You could see defenders potentially backing off to the point where they're going to miss tackles because they're afraid they're going to get a penalty. And they're going to try and combat their instinctiveness and what comes natural to them on the football field. And I think this is one of these things where, it's still the preseason, still a lot to be determined about it, but the early returns have not been promising. It's very, very concerning, and it could significantly impact the way players, especially on the back end of the defense, talk about defensive backs, most notably safeties, and sometimes linebackers as well, approach the game, attack the ball, attack the receiver, attack the ball carrier, and all of that, and that's not a good thing. Sebastian Barton, is the new helmet rule a knee-jerk reflex reaction or a good rule that is needed? I think it's a lot dependent upon your perspective. I mean, ultimately, if you can make anything safer, it sounds good in theory, but sometimes you can make it so safe or go out of your way to try and make it so safe that it takes away from what you actually do. And I don't know if we've quite reached that point with the NFL to the point where we can truly just call it flag football, but it feels like that sometimes, don't get me wrong. But it's also the thing of football is an incredibly violent game by nature, by design. And it shouldn't be news to somebody that you get hit enough repeatedly to the head over the years that it might cause some long-term issues and damage. It should not be news to anybody. Why would it be? I mean, it's great to think about player safety, but you can only legislate that safety so much at some point in time. It's not going to matter. It will not matter. Guys are still going to get hurt. Guys are still going to have injuries. Guys can still have potentially long-term health issues and repercussions as a result. But to be fair, there are plenty of other people, maybe not from a CTE standpoint, but there are plenty of other people that develop Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, other things that didn't play football, most certainly did not play professional football. So it's not the be-all, end-all. And the fact of the matter is that you can't sit there and want to pursue a dream like going to the NFL and make all the money and then 20, 30 years after the fact be bitching about all the damage that it did. You made your choice. You knew the consequences. And if you didn't, then shame on you because you're a moron. And it's that simple. You're an idiot. How the hell did you not know? Gee, I wonder if taking these blows to my head repeatedly is going to be good for my head and my mind. I wonder if getting hit like this consistently for 15, 20, 25 years of my damn life or more is a good thing or a bad thing. I wonder. I mean, so in part, it's a good thing potentially, but it's also a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to the consistent focus and emphasis on player safety and CTE and head trauma and everything else in the NFL kind of butchering it, frankly. Because even to try and fix something like that, it's going to take years and years of starting at the lowest levels of Pee Wee football and so forth, of teaching proper fundamentals and doing different things and changing the entire approach to youth football that you can't legislate by the time these guys get to the NFL. Talking Packers asked, my boy Steve, do you see the Browns and or Jets making a playoff run? I see one of them potentially being in the mix and potentially making a surprising run towards a playoff berth. Which one? Well, when I start doing the team-by-team season previews, that's when you'll find out. But I do see one of them having that type of potential. Alex Saida, Could Jordan Howard be traded due to Matt Nagy's offense? Here's the thing, though. You got Jordan Howard going into year 3. He's got 2 years left on his contract. So let's say he was traded after this year. You're talking about trading him with 1 year left on his deal. He's going to be looking to get paid, and a lot of teams aren't going to want to pay a guy like Jordan Howard the type of money he might feel he could command based off of the production that he's put forward. So I don't know exactly what the trade market is for him. Furthermore, this is one of these examples to me of arrogance of system that is not merited and not deserved. It is one thing if Bill Belichick believes in the perfection of his system and his way of doing things, the Belichick Patriot way, because he's got 5 Lombardi trophies and 8 Super Bowl appearances just as a head coach alone. That indicates that his way works better than a lot of other people's. Works better than everybody's. So it makes sense to have some arrogance of the system and belief in self for that. On the flip side, Matt Nagy, what the hell is he coming from? What the hell has he done as a head coach? Ultimately, you get good players, you better figure out a way to make it work with them. And if you can't, then that's your ass, not the players. Your scheme is stupid. Your coaching is stupid, not the player. So if they trade him because they don't feel like he fits the offense, then what's wrong with the offense? Jordan Howard is a beast. You figure out a way to fucking make it work. Sorry. It's just the way it is. Drake Maddox, 28. What does your fantasy football big board look like your top 10 and such? I probably won't have that up for another week, a week and a half, so stay tuned. Does Josh Gordon have more productive season with a Tyrod Taylor starting or a Baker Mayfield starting? Does it matter if he can't keep his shit straight? Does it matter if he can't keep his shit straight? I would maybe lean towards Baker a little bit more because Gordon going down the field more, Baker might keep plays alive longer for the purposes of throwing down the field. Tyrod can keep plays alive with his feet, but he's not necessarily going to go through a bunch of progressions and reads when he does so. Sure, he's occasionally a threat to roll out and throw the ball down the field, but there's something to me about Baker Mayfield. He would look at Josh Gordon as a little bit more of a security blanket, a security valve for him, whereas a guy like Tyrod Taylor might look more at the likes of somebody like David Njoku as being, Jarvis Landry as being those security blankets, those safety valves for him. So I think for Josh Gordon's sake, he might prefer Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield's more aggressive. He's going to take more chances, take more risks, both good and bad, even as a rookie. So that's who I would probably say would be better for Josh Gordon. Keys 10. If you could have one non-quarterback on your NFL roster, who would it be? His name is Aaron Donald. That's the dude. That's the dude. And then thoughts on what Jalen Ramsey said in his GQ interview. I got plenty of thoughts about that, and I will be devoting an entire video separately to it, so stay tuned. Native Clown 03. Where will Teddy Bridgewater get traded? That is a great question. Probably somewhere where they don't have great confidence either in their starting quarterback and his ability to perform all year, or confidence in their starting quarterback being able to stay healthy all year. Who is that, though? My God. I know they just signed Case Keenum to a big deal, but you'd have to think if you're the Denver Broncos, you might have some interest. When you think long-term, like replacement, next step, I think of guys like the Chargers and guys like the Giants, like looking what comes after Rivers and Eli. And I know Teddy's only on a 1-year deal, but just saying, you could bring him in and start to potentially think about the future and already have him in the fold. Who else could potentially trade for him? Maybe somebody like the Houston Texans if they're worried Deshaun Watson could get hurt. So there are options and choices out there. I'm not sure what the number 1 team is going to be at this point. Chet Awesome Laser. Most overrated Hall of Famer of all time other than Broadway Joe Namath. Damn. You went in on Broadway Joe, didn't you? I mean, here's the thing. Joe Namath, you could make an argument statistically, is overrated as a Hall of Famer, sure. But it doesn't fully measure him based solely off of statistics. You're talking about significance, meaning, impact to the game, star power, what he meant to the AFL and then the NFL. It's hard to measure that. You can't tell the story about the NFL without talking about Broadway Joe Namath. So I would disagree with the assertion other than maybe statistically that he's one of the most, if not most overrated Hall of Famers there's ever been, because there are a lot of different things that went into that, and I totally understand why he's in there, and I completely agree with why he's in there. To me, if you're going to go with Joe Namath, then I don't see why you can't go with somebody like Bob Greasy. What the hell did Bob Greasy do other than ride the no-name defense and that great running game of the Dolphins to a couple of Super Bowl victories? I mean, like even the year they went undefeated, if I remember correctly, Greasy was hurt the vast majority of the year, and it was Earl Morrall that led it to the undefeated regular season. So I would lean in for talking about quarterbacks. I think Bob Greasy is more overrated than Broadway Joe is. Alex Shirley, what do you think of the show Hard Knocks? It's an okay concept, and I've never ever watched, and I don't plan to because it doesn't interest me. I just don't care about that type of stuff. I just really don't. And I don't have HBO, and I don't care to. So, never watched. I literally don't think I've ever watched a full episode of Hard Knocks all the years they've done it. And then he also asked, why is Twitter so high on Josh Rosen but so low on Sam Darnold? That beats the ever-loving crap out of me. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't see what Rosen has done in his college career or so far in the preseason that is so star-spangled spectacular or better than Sam Darnold to where somebody would be so giggly tits about Rosen and not so much about Darnold. I just don't see it. And that's not just saying at this point that Sam Darnold should be so way and above ahead of him either. I'm just, I don't know. I don't get it. I think it's in part, Alex, because so many people were so high on Josh Rosen on draft Twitter that they're looking for ways to kind of validate their position. And I understand that because I do the same shit myself. Tyrone asks, could a case be made for L.C. Greenwood being worthy of the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Absolutely. He feels like one of those guys that has kind of slipped through the cracks. Now, to me, he's not a top 5 or top 10 most deserving that's not in. One of those guys just went in Jerry Kramer this year. Another one of those guys, Robert Brazil, finally went in this year as well. And it looks like Johnny Robinson should get his time next year, and he was another one in that top 5, top 10 group. But I think L.C. Greenwood's probably somewhere in the 11 to 20 range. I absolutely could make a good case, a very good case for him to be worthy of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Cards NMU, your first impressions of Josh Rosen in the preseason. I've been able to check him out just a little bit, and so far, I've seen nothing that changes my opinion about him. The things that he does well, I see. The things that concern me, I see. So I stand by what I've said about Rosen so far, and I'm waiting to be proven wrong otherwise. Frankly, I still don't see what all the buzz is about. And he's not naturally mobile, and I don't necessarily mean that the guy has to run around and be a scrambler and be all types of athletic. But he's just not natural moving his feet on a consistent enough basis to be able to avoid the rush. And when he gets a rush in his face, he can panic, and it's not good. And he could take some really big hits due to that lack of natural feel and mobility. I don't think his arm is as great as people made it out to be. You know, there are good traits there for Rosen. There absolutely are, but there are real concern areas. And in the preseason, I've seen both of them based off of what I've seen of him. So anyways, that's part 1 of this Q&A. It feels good to be in the fold of football, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Anyways, this was part 1. Part 2 coming at you soon, so make sure you check it out.